1019 RXP, Aerosmith, 1973, Dream On, their first single from their debut album. It's Matt Pinfield in the morning with Leslie Fram at 8:27. Very excited to have in the studio Sarah Watkins, and Sarah's here with her brother Sean, and also John Paul Jones, of course, is here, which is just great to have all of you here. And I'd love to hear. First of all, let me tell everybody first of all about Nickel Creek. I know many people know, but you and Sean and then Chris is also in band. You guys literally were playing together in a pizza parlor. Sarah, you were 5. Sean, you were 9 years old. How old was Chris at the time?
Well, that was when we started playing, but when we formed the band, I was 8 and Chris was 8 and Sean was 12.
Wow.
But we just started. Our teachers played, actually. It was their gig, and they would have us on stage just to sit in on a couple songs every Saturday night, and then somebody asked for us to play at a festival, and then we just kind of stayed together.
How big was this pizza parlor that you actually ended up having gigs at?
You know, your average pizza parlor. It's not like a little tiny place like.
In other words, has a dining room next to it, kind of thing going on.
Yeah, no, it was a big open room with long tables and benches and I learned that if you ask for the ice cream after you play, sometimes it comes for free.
Yeah.
Is what I
That's great. Oh, we love that.
It was 99 cents, but didn't have to ask mom and dad. So.
That's amazing. Now, Sean, you were here before, of course, with Fiction Family. You were here in the studio.
Yeah.
And I know that it's funny because there's you probably do so many interviews. We looked at each other like, I met you, Sean, and you're like, was I here before? It was that kind of thing.
Yeah, just a few months ago.
It really was. But early mornings are early mornings, and there's no other way to look at it. Now, John, we're here with John Paul Jones as well. John, of course, we know is an amazing arranger, bass player, and of course part of one of the most important bands in the history of rock, Led Zeppelin. John, how did you end up hooking up with Sarah? I mean, I know you're a huge fan of bluegrass and country as well. I mean, you love all different styles of music.
I do.
How did you end up finding Sarah?
Well, I was following Nickel Creek around for a while.
Yeah.
And I went to Millfest and I met a whole bunch of people there as well. And then I saw Nickel Creek at Cambridge Folk Festival a couple of years ago now.
Few, I think.
Yeah, and Sarah did this killer version of Short People, the Randy Newman song.
Really? You did Short People?
I did.
I would love to hear
and I said afterwards, I was so impressed, I said afterwards, if you make a solo record and I don't produce it, I'm not speaking to you again.
So you did end up producing it, and then
and now look, we're talking.
And now you're talking. Now you're still friends.
Yeah.
Now you guys got some great people on here as well. I mean, besides like obviously Tim O'Brien and Chris Eldridge and Ronnie McCurry, guys who are great bluegrass guys. You had Ben Montench, keyboard player from Tom Petty, and Pete Thomas from the Elvis Costello and the Attractions, who is an amazing drummer. How did you guys come about picking the people to be on the record? Tell us that.
It was really fun. A really fun process, actually. I know Ben Mont from Los Angeles. For the last 6 or 7 years, when Nickel Creek was touring, between tours, we would just do this regular show there at this place called Largo, and since Nickel Creek stopped touring, it became like a weekly residency, and on Thursday nights. And so Ben Mont and Greg Leese, who plays pedal steel on the record, great musician, have sort of become little consistent honorary family members, and a lot of the songs that made it on the record were played for a year or so at Largo, and a lot of these cover songs have just really sunk in, and they're a huge part of my experience with these songs. I've learned how to sing them with these guys playing along, so it was a great thrill to get to have them on the record as well.
We're in the studio with Sarah Watkins, of course, Nickel Creek, and brother Sean is here as well, and John Paul Jones from Led Zeppelin, and a producer, arranger, player. Leslie?
Sarah, how long have you been playing the fiddle? Because I know you said you started performing at a really young age. When did you pick it up the first time?
I was 6 when I started taking lessons, which isn't that young for a violin, actually. There's a lot of kids that start at like 4. But I started taking Suzuki lessons because it's hard to find a fiddle teacher that'll teach you from scratch. And then once I had the basics, I actually got this guy, Dennis Kaplinger, who was in the band that he was my inspiration for wanting to play. So I got to take lessons from him when he wasn't on tour, and then, just kind of catching up here and there.
What kind of music was being played, like, in the house when you were growing up? What were your parents listening to?
There was some classical, and there was some a little bit of Celtic and American rock and roll kind of stuff.
Ever hear any Zeppelin albums played in the house? Any of John Paul's old stuff?
I probably did, but I don't.
Burning them in the garden.
That's amazing. Well, you know, why don't you do a song for us? You're going to do a cover right now of this David Garza song. And it was funny because when I saw that you covered this, I was like, wow, David Garza, great songwriter. And
Yeah.
it was a really cool choice. And I thought it was also a surprise for me. Tell me about picking this song Too Much.
Well, I had met David at that same club in LA, and he plays there a lot. And I've been a fan of his for quite a while. And this is one of the songs I learned it because we play so frequently. We have to learn songs a lot to just keep the repertoire interesting for us. And this is one that we learned, and it kind of went in and out of phases. We'd play it for like a month or two, and then it would phase out of the rotation, and then it always came back. So we put it on the record.
All right, great. Well, we'd love to hear it right now for your first song. Of course, it's Sarah Watkins in the studio. Sean Watkins and John Paul Jones at 1019 RXP live in the studio.
Oh, but it's too